UX bootcamps promise to get you job ready in just a few months. As somebody who went through a UX bootcamp and landed a job, it's not as easy as enrolling and getting hired. So in this video, we are going to go over the good and the bad of bootcamps and why they do work and why sometimes they don't. Full transparency. I went through Springboard's UX UI program. They are the sponsor for a portion of this video. Just because I went through that Springboard bootcamp, I'm still gonna give you guys my honest opinions about bootcamps as a whole. I feel like I've got some good insight for you, so just wanna say, all of these opinions are my own. They're not reflective of anybody else, any other company. Just some thoughts that I wanted to share with you, as if you're watching this video, either gone through bootcamp, you're thinking about a bootcamp, or just getting into UX in general. So disclaimer out of the way, let's talk about it. While I make my coffee, let's do the bad first. Let's get the bad part out of the way. I think, and I feel like I'm seeing it a lot less now, but when I first started, a lot of boot camps have a job guarantee, and every place does it a little bit differently, like structures it a little bit differently. I think what's tricky now with why boot camps don't work for some is that the UX landscape is so different now. It's so competitive. I think it's hard for them not to overpromise, saying that you'll be job ready and you'll get it and you'll land a job. I think you have to do some critical thinking of your own, and that's not a guarantee. Also, not all boot camps are created equally, guys. Some boot camps focus too much on theory and not practical application. Some don't offer any mentorship. Some of them are just outdated. Like your boot camp, whatever boot camp you guys are doing, needs to be reflective of the current industry. So there needs to be market trends, AI, business-centric mindset, like these kinds of things. You want to make sure that they are true to the market that you're going to be entering in. Boot camps teach an ideal UX process. Like when I went through my education, it was like A and then B and then C. And guys, as I've been doing mine for 3 years now, there's not a single project that follows the design process exactly. So you have to kind of divest yourself from, this is what I learned in education, but it's not really true to life. I think some grads struggle because they haven't dealt with the real business constraints, whether it's tight budget, short on time, we only have time for the MVP, like these kinds of things. So I think when people get out into the real world, it's like, whoa, what the hell? This is not what I learned at all. Also, something with bootcamp, I think sometimes they focus too much on design. It's not so much about what you can design, it's more about the problem that you can solve. And I think sometimes boot camps don't do a good job of instilling that. And then another problem, I think there's not really an emphasis on self-marketing yourself. I think having the skills isn't enough. You need to really know how to sell yourself. I don't think a lot of boot camps teach networking, personal branding, and how to stand out in the job market. Overall, I think there's just some pieces missing. And so it's hard when they're advertised in a way of like, this is the one-stop shop, this is all you need, you're gonna go through it, you're gonna land a job pretty quickly, you're gonna be making 6 figures out the gate. And obviously it's marketing, it's selling, you have to just remember that. You just wanna make sure that as you're going through options for bootcamp, you're finding ones that make the most sense for you. Not to be totally negative, let's talk about some of the positives. I think bootcamps do a really great job of keeping you accountable. I think our generation is kind of crappy at accountability. And we say that we're going to do something, we're going to jump into this boot camp, and then you fall off a week or two later because it's hard. I like that boot camp kept me so accountable. I knew I had to get my assignments done, and I knew I had my weekly check-in with my mentor. And obviously there's like wiggle room, but I was not going to come in there empty-handed because I'm spending this money. I'm doing this for the investment in my future. I like the structure of it, deadlines, the commitment to things. And it was great that I could also talk to fellow students as well, just for like motivation and what you're working through. So that community aspect is really, really huge. I do think they're really good for structured learning and mentorship because sometimes people need a clear roadmap, and I'm one of those people. Just so you're not aimlessly jumping between YouTube videos, blog posts, a little bit here, a little bit there. You kind of have the roadmap laid out for you on what you're going to learn, when, how, and then you can always supplement with some other things. And obviously if your bootcamp has mentorship, maybe that's the one you want to go with, because having somebody to talk to when I'm learning and I'm not just like in my own little silo was really important. So that's a big up to Springboard for that one. And then the projects that you create. Some bootcamp projects you will see over and over again. But what I think was really cool about Springboard was that we had an industry design project. So that was where they paired you with like a real life company, a real person with a need, and you got to do the whole UX process for them. And I've mentioned this in so many videos, but that project, that IDP is what the abbreviation is the reason that I got my current UX job. So I like that there's the challenge of having to apply the process in real life with real customers, with a real client, because that really kind of ups the ante and gives you a real taste of what it's actually going to be like. Who should take a boot camp? I would say career switchers who need structure. That was me. People who learn best with guidance and accountability. Who should maybe reconsider is anybody that prefers to be more independent, self-taught. Also, anybody that's looking for an easy switch into something else. UX is not an easy switch, I will say. It wasn't easy when I was doing it. It's sure as hell not easy now. So if that's kind of what you're looking for, I think there might be other places in tech that you might be better suited for. But if you're looking for something easier to switch to, it's not going to quite require a lot of extra work outside of a program, this might not be the route for you. So if you're thinking about a UX bootcamp, do your research and have realistic expectations. I will put down below all the information about Springboard and the program that I went through, which I recommend. All the positives I said apply to Springboard. But then also I want you guys to keep in mind everything that I said of why they might not work, and just make sure again that your expectations are realistic. Bootcamps are a great stepping stone, but they are not a shortcut. Let me know down in the comments if you've gone through a bootcamp, if you're thinking about a bootcamp. Let's just get the conversation going down below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all the good things, and I'll see you guys in the next one.